In the past 24 hours, let me get this straight. Iran bombed a base in America. Trump said, LMAO, you missed. This is Trump talking about basically, so he set up last night. Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with promise. God bless you both. Right? So he goes and he says this shit, right? And I mean, if they stray from the path of righteousness and truth, how do you believe in Trump? Well, because it worked. That's the reason why people believe in this guy, because he does insane shit and somehow he comes out ahead. That's the reason why. I mean, it shouldn't work. It shouldn't happen. There's no reason for this to happen. It defies all logic and rationality. No, it didn't. Well, no. Okay, so then, well, it didn't work though. Well, now it is working again. So it didn't. Okay, so he says that there's a ceasefire. He's promising there's a ceasefire. Everybody's saying is that, you know, Trump, you know, should get the Nobel Peace Prize. Everything is going really well. This was a moment.
Now, we're hearing incredibly optimistic views coming out of the White House as far as how long this can hold and what this is going to look like.
Yes.
That obviously still remains to be seen on the implementation side of this, and waiting to see if the firing does stop and if Iran and Israel do both agree to this. Because, you know, speaking of the fluidity of the situation, it was just 24 hours ago that President Trump himself was suggesting a regime change in Iran was a possibility. And obviously right before that, having the United States strike Iran. And so,
of course,
yes, there have been a lot of phone calls going back and forth. In part, this has to do with Iran's limited response earlier, where they fired on a U.S. base in Qatar, but there were no casualties. We know that they did give a heads up that they were going to be firing on U.S. bases without exactly specifying which ones.
I mean, how is it like? How do they just tell you, like, yeah, we're going to bomb you? By the way.
But that is the question here.
Yeah,
is
just
if
by the way,
the United States felt that it did not need to respond to the Iranian retaliation, did that create the space for this? That is what we've been hearing from administration officials. And so the question is whether or not this still holds for the next few hours.
And so they're trying to second guess Donald, right? They're saying like, oh, bro, this shit's not going to happen. Then in the middle of the broadcast,
Caitlin, I just been given the word that Iran, according to a diplomat who briefed CNN, Iran has agreed to the ceasefire. So this is significant. I just want to try to learn some more information as soon as we get it about that. But if that is the case, that's incredibly significant, because that is, we were waiting. We had not heard from Iran. We had not heard from Israel. All we were going on so far has been the president's social media post, which was some 2 hours ago. So again, that is the first indication we have that Iran has agreed to this.
Well, there we go. And so anyway, this is how it is. And, you know, everybody was happy and things were going very well. And so then right after that, obviously, oh, by the way, the House passed a bill to defund the Taliban. I don't know how that exactly happened, but, you know, that's where we're at. And so and then there's this guy, too.
Reports that Iran has targeted U.S. military bases and U.S. service members in the Middle East, putting the lives of thousands of Americans at immediate risk. I join Americans. I pray for their safety. This afternoon, I asked the Trump administration to immediately provide a classified briefing laying out the full threat picture, the intelligence behind Iran's retaliation, and the detailed scope and timeline of any U.S. response.
So he's very unhappy.
More importantly, I've demanded they lay out exactly what measures they're taking right now to keep our service members safe. As I said Saturday night, Congress and the American people are owed answers. No president should be allowed to unilaterally march this nation into war with erratic threats, no strategy, no explanation.
Man.
That's why I've called on Leader Thune to hold a vote immediately.
That's crazy.
To enforce the War Powers Resolution.
Not even Obama.
The law requires the Trump administration to consult with Congress. The Constitution demands it.
And the
American people, especially the families of those in harm's way, deserve nothing less. confronting the Iranian regime's nuclear ambitions and stopping their campaign of terror.
This is right when
demands
he's
strength, resolve,
whenever
and
he's announcing the peace
strategic
deal.
clarity.
Man, and so they're crashing out. They're mad about this, obviously. And anyway, so this lasted for I'd say like 5 minutes. And so after that, this is kind of what's interesting too, is that, let me go back over here. And big surprise, they violated immediately. And you could tell that the ceasefire was going to get violated. How do you know the ceasefire was going to get violated? The reason why is because they were literally, like, they put a timer on when the ceasefire was, and they were trying to bomb each other and, like, fucking get the last hit in before the timer runs out. Like, I mean, are you kidding me? Like, you really think this shit was gonna stop? Like, what kind of bullshit? It's like a fucking video game. Yeah, they're like, okay, bro, all right, it's 1:52, and we've still got another, okay, yeah, we've got 8 more minutes. All right, send another one. No, it should be fine. We'll tell Donald that we started whenever it happened, and it just landed. It was a misfire, right? A delusional, yeah, Tekken last round, yeah, exactly. And so then finally, Trump finds out about this, and he totally fucking crashes out. Like, he's so fucking mad. He's furious. He's out of his fucking mind. Trump, yeah, he even says Trump furious with Israel, Iran faltering ceasefire as he leaves for the NATO summit. And there we go. Look at his face. Is he happy? No, he's not.
But reports coming from the region suggest that the sides accuse each other for violating the ceasefire. So
I think they both violated it. I don't think I'm not sure they did it intentionally. They couldn't rein people back. I don't like the fact that Israel went out this morning at all. And I'm going to see if I can stop it. So as soon as I get away from you, I'm going to see if I can stop it, okay?
Yep. So he's fucking pissed.
I think it's been completely demolished. I think the reason we're here is because those pilots, those B-2 pilots, did an unbelievable job. And, you know, the fake news, like CNN in particular, they're trying to say, well, I agree that it was destroyed, but maybe not that destroyed. You know what they're doing? They're really hurting great pilots that put their lives in the line. CNN is scum, and so is MSDNC. They're all, and frankly, the networks aren't much better. It's all fake news, but they should not have done that.
Yeah.
Those pilots hit their targets. Those targets were obliterated, and the pilots should be given credit. They're not after the pilots, they're after me. They want to try and demean.
rebuild its nuclear program?
Iran will never rebuild its nuclear. From there? Absolutely not. That place is under rock. That place is demolished. The B-2 pilots did their job. They did it better than anybody could even imagine. They hit late in the evening. It was dark with no moon.
I mean, I gotta say that they really did cook the shit out of them. They did. Like, they had no idea that shit was even gonna happen. Like, I didn't even realize how badly they fucked up that site until I realized that the tunnel that had collapsed was like a mile away from the place that they had bombed. And I was like, oh, so it's done. Okay, yeah, got it.
That target with every one of those things, and that place is gone.
But
gone. When I see CNN all night long, they're trying to say, well, maybe it wasn't really as demolished as we thought. It was demolished. You take a look at the pinpricks, and you see that place is gone. And I will say, I think CNN ought to apologize to the pilots of the B-2s. I think that MSDNC ought to apologize. I think these guys really, these networks and these cable networks are real losers. You really are.
Real losers.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN because I watch it. I have
to call them gutless losers.
You're gutless losers. I say that to CNN.
Jesus, bro, he's sitting there talking shit. He mad as fuck.
Then, because I watch it. I have no choice. I got to watch that garbage. It's all garbage. It's all fake news. But I think CNN is a gutless group of people. And the people that run it, nobody even knows it's been sold so many times. But the people that run it ought to be ashamed. MSDNC, a guy named Brian Roberts, he heads it. He's a disgrace. He's a weak, pathetic disgrace.
Jesus.
ceasefire agreement.
Bro, he's just fucking pissed. God damn.
Do you believe that Iran is still committed to peace?
Yeah, I do. They violated it, but Israel violated it too.
Are you questioning if Israel is committed?
Israel, as soon as we made the deal, they
Yeah.
came out and they dropped a load of bombs, the likes of which I'd never seen before. The
Yeah,
biggest
of course he's fucking pissed. Yeah, it's ridiculous that like, oh, we're gonna get a ceasefire in 12 hours. Okay, so the idea of that is that like that doesn't mean okay, get your big ones in now, boys. Get the big ones in now. Hey, you won't have time later. Drop them all right now.
that we've seen. I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Oh my God. Well, wow. And the thing is, he's completely right. He is. He's totally right. I think everybody feels this way. Yes. Wow. And does he actually just walk off after that? He actually just walks off. Wow. Holy fucking shit. The content president. Yep. Hey, that's right, guys. Wow. Jesus. You pissed off the wrong dude? Yeah. And so that's pretty much what happened. And it's refreshing to hear a president say things we're all feeling instead of being politically correct. Yep. And that was the end of it. Oh my fucking God. Yeah,
I'm not happy with Iran either, but I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because the one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Absolute fucking cinema. Oh my God. Wow. And do you understand that? Yes, bro. That's like a directed by Michael Bay moment. I cannot wait for that. I'm pretty sure people have probably already edited that in already. Now we're talking good stuff. Yes, he just literally walks off after that. And I think it is hilarious. You're going to watch the live footage of Trump arriving at the NATO summit? Of course. I mean, absolutely. Like right now, I mean, things are really kind of crazy. And let's see, is he here? No, not yet. Nobody knows what's happening. Yep, they're all waiting on him, and we'll see what he says when he gets here. And nah, bro, it's a JoJo's roundabout moment. Shit's gonna continue. You think it's gonna continue? You could be right. And well, anyway, so he said now. So the ceasefire is now back on. If you can believe this. So let me go and see if I can pull this up and show you again. So we need a comparison between Biden walking away and Trump walking away. Yeah. Where is, because he said now that the ceasefire has happened once more. And where is it going? What Biden did to this country. Okay, Biden is bad. Both Israel and Iran wanted to stop the war equally. It was my great honor to destroy all nuclear facilities and capability and then stop the war. So basically, they broke the ceasefire. They violated it. And then he got really, really fucking mad. And, oh, he makes this massive fucking twit longer post about AOC. Look at that. He's going crazy about this, talking shit about her. Yeah, ceasefire fatigue. I can guarantee your war's not over. I mean, who the fuck knows? It's impossible to know. Heading to NATO, or at the worst, it'll be a much calmer period than what I went through with Israel and Iran. Yeah, Iran will never rebuild their nuclear facilities. Israel is not going to attack Iran. All planes will turn around and head home while doing a friendly plane wave to Iran. Nobody will be hurt. The ceasefire is in effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. And so, Israel, do not drop those bombs. Bro, what universe are we living in? This is insane. Do not drop those bombs. If you do, it's a major violation. Bring your pilots home now. Donald J. Trump. Oh, the ceasefire is now in effect. Please do not violate it. Oh, wow. Tweeting out photos of himself, saying that he was right about everything. Yep, there we go. Is there anything else here? Iran, and they said peace. Or this is the one that we saw before. So right now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't know. I think that the ceasefire is in effect now. I think so. I'm not even sure. I don't even know. I have no idea. And so it is, I think so, yes, right? I give it 12 hours, to be honest. It is in effect. Okay, it is in effect. And yeah, this is insane. Obviously, Israel is the problem. I mean, they bombed them. Yeah, Israel should not have done that. It's not even a question. But yeah.
We basically have two countries that have been fighting.
I didn't know this was the end of the interview.
So long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Do you have to respond to Iran?
You know what?
Oh my God. What a world that we're in. And so there it is. Iran got probably their most successful strike towards the end, unfortunately. Well, then they got to stop. I mean, Israel got a lot of good ones on them too. So yeah, Trump says he is, quote, really unhappy with Israel. Uh-oh. He is not happy with Israel. Oh, man. So nobody knows what's going to happen now. Yeah, one of the reasons why Israel dropped the bomb was because Iran launched the missiles and killed at least 3 people minutes before the ceasefire. Yeah, they've both killed a bunch of people. They both have. Like, it's happened a lot. Like, if they just keep doing that back and forth, it's never going to end. Let's be honest, right? I mean, this has been an ongoing war for years. It's not like, okay, well, we're going to do one more bombing and then we're going to be even. No, their last bombing was to make them even. And so now you're bombing, now you're one ahead of them, and then so now they have to bomb you. But then from your perspective, now they're one ahead of you, so you got to bomb them. And it's like, no, it never fucking stops. It never fucking stops. And that's the thing. So eventually somebody has to stop shooting the bombs. Somebody has to stop shooting them. And Israel getting the last word. Yes, this is crazy. Firing off bombs with minutes before the ceasefire. Like, that is the most bad faith thing that I've ever heard in my fucking life. It's like, yeah, guys, we're going to have a ceasefire. But real quick. Hey, we got 10 minutes. It takes 8 minutes for them to get there. Fire them now. Go, quick. Yeah, there it is. My little brother has to try to get the last word in. Yes, exactly.
We begin this morning with a Fox News alert. Israel now ordering the IDF to respond forcefully after claiming Iran violated their ceasefire agreement. The IDF saying missiles were launched from Iran after the midnight deadline imposed by President Trump.
In just the last few minutes, Israel ordering high-intensity strikes against regime targets in the heart of Tehran, and this violation of the deal comes less than an hour before the President of the United States is expected to leave for
Can you imagine how fucking annoying that would be? Like, imagine you're Donald Trump and you go to bed, you like, all right, finally, I achieved world peace again, and I'm gonna get the Nobel Prize. You wake up, I'd be out of my fucking
You're watching
mind.
Fox and Friends First on a Tuesday morning that is moving very, very rapidly. I'm Todd Pyro.
And I'm Carla Shimkitz. Let's get right to Mike Tobin with the very latest on the ground in Israel. And Mike, here we go again.
Well, things are moving very fast, Carly and Todd. Iranian state TV now denies that they will that the Iranian government, the Iranian military, was responsible for those 1 or 2 missiles.
Can you imagine the phone call that happened between probably the 2 or the 3 of them? I don't know if it was all 3 of them at the same time or, you know, each of them separately. Can you imagine how bad that probably was?
Into Israel's north. We're still looking to confirm the specific number on that. Now, that missile was intercepted and landed without injury, but not without consequence. As you mentioned, Israel's defense minister and the chief of general staff have now vowed fierce retaliation for the violation of a ceasefire that wasn't quite 4 hours old when those missiles came into the north of Israel. But again, Iran is denying that they took part in that. Now, as the ceasefire was preparing to take hold, about 5 waves of ballistic missiles came in from Iran. One of them hit down here in Beersheba, where I'm standing right now. And as we look behind me, you can see what looks like the impact site from that missile is indeed the impact site from the missile. You can see rescue crews right now going through the rubble, searching for any possible people who are trapped in the rubble. It should be mentioned that no one is missing right now. They're just operating out of abundance of caution. One of the things I've seen the rescuers doing today is forming up.
Not a ceasefire? I think that it was actually something as stupid as Iran launched the missiles when there wasn't a ceasefire, and they hit after the ceasefire. Like, it's so stupid. You can't even imagine. Like, this is it's like, yeah, buzzer beater. Yes, it's like Space Jam, where somebody makes the half-court shot, and the time runs out. And it's a 3-pointer and they win the game. Yes!
Old-fashioned bucket brigade carrying rubble out of that building just to clear as much space as they can. We do know that a family of 4 was inside of the bomb shelter. That bomb shelter took a direct hit. Here is a spokesman from Homefront Command.
That's Israel's
what we understand currently, that the family was inside the shelter. And unfortunately, when we have a direct hit, a direct strike of a missile in the shelter, it did not always help.
It doesn't help. You heard that? You heard it here first, guys. A direct missile hit to the shelter does not help. That's a fact.
So those bomb rooms do a good job of protecting people in the blast radius, but when you have a powerful warhead like the one that came down here and it takes a direct hit, all 4 of those people perish. There's an additional 26 people who were injured by the force of that blast, and their injuries vary. So we're watching the situation. When these missiles were fired, the Israeli fighter jets were in the air over Iran. They detected the missile launches and struck back at least some of those missile launchers. So that has taken place all today. But the situation now, of course, is very fragile with Israel's defense minister and the chief of general staff vowing to strike back at Iran for what they say is a flagrant violation of the ceasefire. Iran now says they didn't do it. You could be looking to one of the other rogue elements, a rogue element inside of Iran, or one of the other proxies.
There's a chance that it was just a miscommunication or somebody fucked up. I mean, it seems like Iran, like, is full of the people that run the military, at least, are fucking morons, right? Like, I mean, that's how they just keep getting themselves killed. And so, like, this definitely, it absolutely could have been a fuck up.
That are operating in the region. Guys, back to
you.
Really,
and Mike, what I'm hearing you say is at least
one. Because again, they're all new to the job because the people that were on the job before then were dead. So it's like, yeah, you've only been doing this for like 6 days, and you just found out I violated the international ceasefire. Oh, I got the wrong time zone. Fuck. Oh, gee. Oh.
Missile was intercepted after the ceasefire went into effect, but Iran is denying that it took part in that. So if not Iran, then who?
Correct. One missile in.
They said they didn't do it.
I'm sorry, my earpiece is going in and out, but at least one missile was intercepted. No injuries reported on the ground. The tops of the Israeli military saying that the ceasefire has been violated and saying that they'll respond.
Yep. All right, Mike Tobin live for us in Israel. Mike, we will check back in with you as warranted. With that, let us bring in former Deputy National Security Advisor and Heritage Foundation Vice President of National Security, Victoria Coates.
And we all cry. Asmongold was one of the few people that didn't cry World War III, and Trump's a tool for Israel and just called it for what it is. Remember this next time peak? Yeah, I was right about everything. And it was obvious what Trump did. Trump planned this out. Because you have to keep in mind, and so this is an important part of analysis. I think most people don't remember anything, right? And so like they might not remember what happened. Is that Operation Midnight Hammer, where the B-2 bombers blew up all of the nuclear sites? This was wargamed by Israel and Biden. This was in 2024. So this entire, like the foundation for this is not new at all. Trump knew that they had this planned out before he went to the Middle East. And so what I think happened is that Trump knew that he had this planned out. He went to the Middle East. He went to all of these other countries. He created a lot of trade relationships with them, established diplomatic, rapport. And now it's like, okay, now we're friends with Saudi Arabia. Now we're friends with Qatar. Bro, like Syria is flying him in with like all these jets. He's meeting with the old ISIS leader and now they're boys. And, he's saying how attractive the guy is. Everything's great. Everything's good. And then so the only person who wasn't invited to that party was Iran. Iran wasn't at the party. And, he was like, yeah, maybe we can try to get them, but we'll see what happens. Then he goes and he attacks the, he attacks these military bases, and obviously, he attacks the nuclear sites. This was bad, and everybody condemned. They were like, oh, this is bad. Everybody's thoughts and prayers. But then whenever Iran attacked the military base, the American military base in Qatar, Qatar said, what the fuck are you doing attacking us? What the fuck are you doing sending missiles over to us now? Because Trump had already established that diplomatic relationship from being over there in the first place, because, again, he knew this was going to happen. That's what I think it was. And he had, this is not even a 500 IQ play. Again, all of this was laid out in front of him before he even took office. You see kind of how all this fits together. It was all planned with Qatar. It was.
You heard Mike Tobin say Iran is denying that their government was responsible for these strikes. But assuming that is not correct, assuming that the Iranian government is ultimately responsible, is this a mere hiccup? Can the ceasefire be saved? Or has Iran potentially crossed a red line from which they cannot come back?
There's a lot of people that, again, the reason why a lot of people get mad is that they don't think about situations as they occur. They think about situations as they imagine them. And I think that a lot of people have imagined scenarios in their mind, and those imagined scenarios end up superseding reality. And so for a lot of these people, it ends up being they're like, oh, but this is like the Iraq war. This is like this other thing, but it's the Jews or something like that. And all of this is an abstraction from the current situation. So fundamentally, these people are operating in a principle that's not relevant to the topic. That's really what's happening.
Well, Todd, unfortunately, this is the kind of messy period that generally happens around a ceasefire, where a side that is typically on the losing side is going to try to get a little bit more. They're going to try to have a last strike, something for domestic consumption that they can say that they, are still powerful. And we've seen what Iran is capable of. What they do
and
is
Iran can't look weak because their regime is almost about to collapse anyway. They're about to flop over anyway, so the last thing that they need is to look like they don't have any teeth. Because if that happens, then suddenly people storm the building of the government, and then they're all dead. So they can't let that happen.
Fire at apartment buildings, at families sheltering in bomb shelters. This is hardly the stuff of a great military victory.
Fear-based regime,
Israel, on the other hand, is flying with impunity over
this.
Tehran right now, and I'm sure will take another strike on a strategic target, something like the missile launchers that will prevent Iran from doing this again. But it doesn't take away from what President Trump...
How do you know Iran's about to collapse? Because all of their leadership has been killed. The main person that is the figurehead of their leadership is about to die. He's 86. And also the approval rating of that leadership government it's below 20%. Literally every single thing points towards it falling apart.
Achieved, which is that he's gotten both sides to agree to a
86,
ceasefire.
yeah.
It is time
He's
to end
old as
this
fuck.
war and consolidate Israel's and America's gains.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that despite the fact that Israel is claiming that Iran launched a missile into Israel, and they're saying
Somebody
that
in
the ceasefire
Iran
is
did.
off, do you think that, like Todd said, could this be a hiccup? Could things proceed more peacefully in the hours to come?
Well, Carly, I never want to refer to the death of a family of four as a hiccup. I mean, we have to
it was over 80, 20
be
years
mindful
ago?
of the
Maybe.
seriousness of that.
Yeah, and
But
Victoria,
at the same
understood
time,
on that point.
Israel
The
has
death of the
largely-
family took place, and horrible that it happened. It took place before the official ceasefire went into effect, and now that and now we're in a new world where every party agreed to a ceasefire, and then a missile was launched.
It's a different situation now.
How do people proceed forward?
Well, I think that we can proceed forward if the situation calms down, if Israel does take a retaliatory strike, and then we can get back to the ceasefire, because I think Israel has achieved largely their war aims. That's what they said last night. And so I think if the president gets involved, if Iran understands the seriousness of the situation, and that both Israel and the United States are prepared to go back in if they don't start behaving more rationally.
Yeah, I cannot imagine the president is happy with these latest developments out of Israel. How should President Trump respond?
Well, I think President Trump will respond decisively. I mean, I think he's
Good call. Yep. Good call.
Going to make very clear to the Iranians these are the terms. They are in an extremely weak position. Both Israel and the United States can act, as I said, with impunity against them. And so it is beholden on Iran now to start becoming a more responsible partner here. They have been given every opportunity, both before this war started, to engage in diplomacy, and now the president yesterday offering them the opportunity to come to the table and come to terms. Now, his patience, as we've discovered, is not infinite. So this better shut down now. And they'd better come to the table.
Trump is right. CNN and MSNBC are unbelievable. Glad you're watching Fox now. Well, we might watch something from CNN or MSNBC later on. But the reality is that a lot of this is a big issue that a lot of, I think people that are anti-Trump have, is that they would rather a world war break out than for Trump to collect a W. That's what it feels like to me, at least, that these people celebrate and are happy when one of these ceasefires falls through. They're happy when, a negotiation fails. And the ultimate reality of that is people get killed, and it's death and destruction, ultimately, right? It's bad. And I find that to be very, I think it's just gross. It's weird, man. It's very weird. And even when, when Biden was the president, you should still hope and support the president. I still supported Biden as the president. I didn't want Biden to fail, right? Because if Biden fails, that means we all do. At least not we. There's a lot of people here that aren't in the U.S. But I'm an American. That means I fail too. And so it's very, very weird perspective to have. I hate that.
Mood to make concessions so that we can get to the end of this war.
Yeah, and President Trump is going to be leaving for the NATO summit in just a few hours. What will the conversation during the NATO summit be surrounding all of this?
Well, I think it's going to be about the need for NATO to take a lot of responsibility for what's happening in Europe.
Yeah,
this is a big demonstration of all of the obligations the United States has around the world, not just in Ukraine, also in the Middle East, also in the Pacific. So I think the president is going to go back to one of his signature issues, which is making the rest of NATO pay its fair share for the defense of the alliance. And we have the top 10 economies in NATO, the top economy being the United States. The other 9 are clinging at 2% of GDP to defense, not the 3.5 they need to be at. They're not even close.
If they're not paying the money that they're supposed to be paying, then that's a problem, bro. I don't even see how this is a question. Like, what do you mean? Like, so you're supposed to have this agreement and we need to protect you, but like you're not putting your money in. We have to put armor. What the fuck is going on? Like, I mean, really, this is insane.
So I think he's going to be laying down the law there
Poland and the UK are
saying
paying?
if NATO is going to proceed into the 21st century,
My understanding is that Spain is one of the ones that isn't paying, and I think it could also be Germany, but I could be wrong about Germany. I don't think that I'm wrong about Spain, though.
To be relevant, it has to literally have cash on the barrelhead here. We don't want pledges. Yeah. We don't want some sort of projection
Spain
of maybe getting to 2% in 3 or 4 years. We want them to pay up now.
Yeah,
assuming
obviously.
for argument's sake
Fucking
that
obviously.
Iran, their government is responsible for these strikes and not some proxy group like Mike Tobin alluded could be the case in light of the fact that Iran is denying that they are involved in this. Did Iran pick this timing in order to embarrass President Trump as he heads to NATO? And if so, how big of a miscalculation is that?
Well, I don't know how
I mean, I don't think they tried to embarrass him. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think so. Because if they did, I mean, this is the guy that, I mean, he already bombed your nuclear sites with the fucking B-2 bombers. Do you really want to fuck with this guy again? This is the guy that the day after the 60 days of the negotiations, everybody who negotiated with him was dead. Like, do you really want to fuck with this guy? I don't even know if they would do that. I'd be surprised if they did.
Specific it was in terms of embarrassing the president. I would say that it was a miscalculation on the part of Iran if they were responsible. It's kind of this as I said, this gray zone around the establishment of a ceasefire that it can be kind of a difficult period. But I think the key is for him to send the message to the Iranians that this is unacceptable. That if they want to get to diplomacy, they're going to have to start acting responsibly. And otherwise, he's going to take the gloves back off and let the Israelis go back in.
And this is the statement from Defense Minister Israel Katz. I have instructed the IDF to respond forcefully to Iran's violation of the ceasefire with high-intensity strikes against regime targets in the heart of Tehran. So with that, would you say that the war is officially back on right now?
No, there's no way.
Well, let's see what the Israelis actually do. I think some targeted strikes in response to this would be proportionate, and then the ball goes back into the Iranians' court. So I think we'll see what the next couple of hours bring. But this was not a good move on the part of the Iranians. But I do think the ceasefire is recoverable.
And finally, Todd alluded to it, but Israel is saying that one missile was intercepted, and Iran is denying that they took part in it. Could it have been a proxy and not an Iranian strike, or is Israel able to tell and determine?
Here's the thing, right? If it's one missile, Iran said they didn't do it, I'd give them the benefit of the doubt. I would, because it's just cleaner than just, than just continuing to go and go and go and go and go.
That this was coming from Iranian airspace.
Well, if we haven't figured that out yet, Carly, we will be able to figure out in pretty short order. And I would be a little bit surprised because the Iranian proxies have been remarkable for their silence over the course of this 12-day war.
They've been real quiet. Here, I'll go ahead. We'll watch this. Here we go. Let's see it. There he is.
Good evening, Mr. President.
No.
President. Thank you very much. How do you feel about the royal treatment you received? President? Mr. President, please. One picture.
And that's it. He just did not give a fuck.